going to discuss about the working capital calculation under the three methods, the Nayak committee method, as well as the Tandon committee recommendation and the cash budget method. Cash budget method will not do any sums. These two maybe questions are being asked from that. In fact, before going into that concept, I want to make clear certain things where I'm getting, that is, people are putting various doubts with regard to certain prudential norms, particularly the concept of out of order advances and irregular advances, etc., etc. Okay, so when we are doing the question papers, I think test paper number 5, I think mostly, if I am correct, there we are studied if the account has become out of order on so and so date, on which particular date, what is the provision we have to keep. There, for that mathematical working purpose, out of order, that is, we have taken it 1 day overdue. Okay, again, I make it very clear. So for calculation purpose, the account has become out of order when we put, we used the word out of order. Actually, we should have used the word overdue. Okay, 1 day overdue, the account has started showing overdue. Instead of that, wherever if you see, the word out of order is being used. Okay, so there for limited purpose of mathematical calculation, so we have taken the out of order as 1 day overdue. From there, 90 days we calculated, then we worked out like that. Okay, now, but if you actually go as per the prudential norm definition of given by RBI, it is something little different. Okay, now let us go through 3-4 slides are there. Definitely for all levels, questions will come from this prudential norm, which we already studied. Okay, anyhow, to make sure that in the last minute you should not miss out anything, there should not be any, that is what you say, doubts in your minds. I'm going to explain to you about particularly the out of order concept, irregular account, and that is accelerated provisioning. You would also read this somewhere. Anyhow, let us go through it quickly, and then we will take up this test number 8. Okay, now you see the slide is before you. A non-performing asset is a loan or advance. See, you know, you have a term loan, you have, that is, agricultural loan, you have bills discounted, and you have ODOCC also. Okay, there are different types of loans you are having. What are the loans? Term loan you may be having, or you may be having an ODOCC, you may be having a bill discounted, you may be having an agricultural loan. Okay, these are all different types of loans. When these accounts will be called as NPA. Okay, when these accounts will be called as NPA, very, very important, note it down, keep it in your mind. One, that is, first point, interest or installment of principal remain overdue for a period of more than 90 days in respect of a term loan. If it is a term loan, even in agriculture, you have allied activities, no? Certain product code you are opening. So when it is not related to, when the agricultural loan, the repayment is not related to crop cultivation, that also will come here. Okay, certain types of agricultural loans you are having, mainly for agriculture allied activity, which is not related to crop cultivation, those things also will fit in here. Okay. So, when a term loan, either interest or installment or both, if it is not paid for more than 90 days in respect of a term loan, it is called as NPA. Very simple, very simple. Okay. Then the account, in the case of an ODOCC account, second point to keep it, what is out of order, I will explain in the other slide. So the account remains out of order in respect of an overdraft and cash credit, ODOCC. So what we are discussing, when an account will be called as NPA. First, in the case of a term loan, if interest or installment or both, if it is not serviced for more than 90 days, the account will be classified as NPA. With regard to ODOCC account, if the account remains out of order, the account will be classified as NPA. What is out of order? We will see. We will see to the slide, then we will come back here. Okay, so this is an out of order advance. If an ODOCC account that is goes through, if any of these points, it is considered an out of order advance, then it will be classified as NPA. Okay, now let's see. An account will be so the only for ODOCC, the concept of out of order is that. What is that? If the outstanding balance remains continuously excess of the sanctioned limit or drawing power for 90 days. So whichever is less, either drawing power or limit, whichever is less, all of you are aware. If that is the outstanding balance, that is a liability, continues to be more than the limit or drawing power, whichever is less. That word should come there. Okay. If the liability continues to be more than, that is a limit or drawing power continuously for 90 days, it is called an out of order advance. Okay, that is first point. Second point, you see, though the liability is less than the limit. Second point, you see, first point what I told, the liability continues to be more than the limit or drawing power for 90 days. It is an out of order. In the second case, the liability may not be more than, that is a limit or drawing power. It will be less than the limit or drawing power. But there are no credits continuously in the account for 90 days, dormancy. Okay, in your special watch or SMA, it is called a dormancy. So what is the second point? Even though the liability is less than the limit or drawing power, the liability has not exceeded. Even though the liability is less than the limit or drawing power, if there are not even a single rupee credit in the account for continuously for 90 days, it is an out of order account. A, B, both A and B, anything. Okay, all out of order advances are NPA for as per the prudential norm classification. Point number 3. Though there are credits, what is the first point? Liability continues to be more than the limit or drawing power, whichever is less, continuously for 90 days, out of order, fact, gone. Second case, liability is not more than the limit or drawing power, but there are no credits in the account continuously for 90 days, fact, out of order, NPA. Third point, though there are credits in the account, second point, no credits at all continuously for 90 days. Third point, though there are credits in the account, the credits are not sufficient to cover the interest debited during the same period. You take 1 quarter, you know interest will be debited. No, if the credits in the account is not sufficient to cover the 3, that is monthly interest debited in the account, then also it is called out of order. The account will be classified as NPA. Please keep that in mind. Again, I repeat, out of order for prudential norm purpose or for asset classification purpose, there is something different. So out of order advance, as per definition of RBI, it is applicable only for OD OCC accounts. When you call an account as out of order, the account is class OD OCC account is classified as out of order. Out of the following 3 things, any one is happening, or any 2 is happening, or all the 3 is happening. What is that first one? Liability continues to be more than the limit or drawing power, whichever is less, for continuously 90 days. That is, the liability is more than the limit or drawing power for 90 days without even a single date is coming down. So it is called an out of order and NPA. Second, though the outstanding balance, even though the liability is less than the limit or drawing power, if not even a single rupee credit continuously in the account for 90 days, it is also called an out of order account. Third point, there are credits, but the credits are not sufficient to cover the interest debited during that period. 3 months, credits are there, but interest is the interest debited is not covered by the credits in that account. So these three, when an account, the OD/OCC account experiencing these 3 or any one of the 3, the account will be classified as out of order. Okay, well, so the last point is the concept of out of order is applicable for OD/OCC accounts only. It is not applicable for term loans. Okay, what is out of order? If you know, for OD/OCC accounts, if they are classified as out of order, they are NPA. Okay, so I will go back here. So, first, when an account is called NPA, interest or installment principal remain overdue for more than 90 days in the case of a term loan. In the case of an OD/OCC account, if it is classified as an out of order advance, then it is NPA. Again, I repeat, in the case of an OD/OCC accounts, if it is classified as out of order, what is out of order? I showed in the means of a other slide to you now. That is, limit liability continues to be more than the limit or drawing power for 90 days. Even though the limit liability is less than the limit, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days. Third, there are credits, but the credits are not sufficient to cover the interest debit during the quarter. That is also out of order. Either 1 or 2, all the 3, anything happens, the account will be classified as out of order. So you see the point, heading you see, a non-performing asset is a loan or advance where, second point you read, the account remains out of order in respect of overdraft and ODOCC. So if all out of order advances are NPA with regard to ODOCC, keep that in your mind. Okay. Third point. So another concept in ODOCC, so out of order ODOCC or NPA. Similarly, irregular ODOCC also will be classified as NPA. What is the irregular ODOCC? See, irregular ODOCC accounts. If statement is submitted for not submitted for more than 3 months, and hence the drawing power calculated from stock statement ODOCC account. What is an irregular ODOCC account? Stock statement submission is more than 3 months old. That is, the drawing power you arrived at is more than 3 months old. It is called an irregular ODOCC account. If so, today the stock statement is due. For next to 3 months, stock statement is not submitted. So at the end of the third month, the account will be classified as an irregular account, not NPA. Then it will be classified as NPA if the irregularity continues further 3 months beyond the 3 months. Again, I repeat. So an irregular ODOCC account means stock statement is not submitted for more than 3 months from the due date, and hence the DP is arrived which is more than 3 months is called an irregular ODOCC account. The irregular ODOCC account, if it continues for another 3 months from the date of commencement of irregularity, then the account will be classified as NPA. Okay, that means so you see the next last point. So again, I repeat for your information, irregular ODOCC accounts, if stock statement is not submitted for more than 3 months, and hence the drawing power calculated from the stock statement is older than 3 months, it is called irregular ODOCC. So if they ask the question, what is an irregular ODOCC? They will give all the options. You have to see stock statement is not submitted, that is for more than 3 months from the date of, that is from the date of due date. So that is called irregular ODOCC. It is not NPA. Irregular ODOCC, if it continues for another 3 months, that is from the due date, 180 days should be completed. Then only it will be called as an NPA account. Okay, last point you see, if this irregularity continues for 90 days beyond 3 months, irregularity is 3 months. If this irregularity continues beyond 3 months, another 3 months, then it is then in that case the account will be classified as NPA. Prudential norm you should run in your mind. Even 4 to 5 questions will be there, or 3 to 4 questions will be there. When you account you call an NPA, term loan, interest on installment not paid for more than 90 days. ODOCC accounts, if they are classified as that is out of order, then they will be classified as NPA. What is out of order? If the liability continues to be more than the limit, or drawing power, whichever is less, for continuously for 90 days, or even though the liability is less than the limit, if there are no credits continuously for 90 days. Third point, even if there are credits, the credits are not sufficient to cover the debit during the quarter. All these things, or any one of these things, the account will be classified as out of order, and all out of order advances with regard to ODOCC will be NPA. Another type of ODOCC account, even though everything is pakka, if stock statement is not submitted, then the account will be classified as NPA. If stock statement is not submitted, so from the due date up to 3 months, it will be classified as an irregular account. If the irregularity continues beyond another 3 months, then the account will be classified as NPA. Okay, sir. When an account will be classified as NPA, ODOCC, different definitions are there. You have to be thorough. Next point we will see. In nutshell, with regard to stock statement we are discussing now. In nutshell, if stock statement is not submitted within 180 days from the due date, and hence DP arrived is more than 180 days old, the account has to be classified as NPA. Yesterday there was a question somewhere, no, I saw in the group. Stock statement is not submitted for more than 9 months. So what is the asset classification? So more than 9 months means 270 days, isn't it? 180 days afterwards, the account will be classified as substandard. Okay, 180 days onwards, our substandard start. 9 months means it is 3 months substandard account. Because already 180 days is over. From 181 days, it will be classified as NPA. 9 months means that is another 3 months. That means it is substandard asset. What is the age of the substandard asset? It is 3 months. So you should tick the answer substandard asset. So in nutshell, if stock statement is not submitted within 180 days from the due date and hence DP arrears is more than 180 days old, the account has to be classified as NPA. And so what we saw, when an OD OCC account will be classified as NPA when it is out of order. What is out of order? Now we know very clearly. Then second is, if it is irregular and the irregularity is more than 3 months, that is from totally 180 days from the date of stock statement due. So the account will slip to NPA. Third point, if in case of a renewal of limit, if the limit is not renewed within 180 days from the date of due for renewal, then the account will be classified as NPA. So for OD OCC accounts, the two non-financial parameters. What is the two non-financial parameters? That is stock statement not submitted. It is 180 days from the due date of the stock statement. Renewal not done. 180 days from the due date of the renewal. In between, for the stock statement not submitted, if they ask you the question, what is irregular? Stock statement not submitted, that is 3 months is over. So that is irregular account. Okay. From beyond the 3 months, another 3 months, the irregularity continues, the account will be classified as NPA. Okay, sir. So prudential norm. Next slide we'll see. So what are all the non-performing assets? Term loan, OD-OCC. In OD-OCC, 3 cases are there: out of order, irregular, and then renewal of limit. Okay, these 3 cases will be classified as NPA. Then agriculture. So a non-performing asset is a loan or advance where the installment of principal or interest thereon remains overdue for 2 crop seasons for short duration crops. What is a short duration crops for IRAC purpose? We studied in test paper number 1 or test paper number 2. The harvest is within 12 months of the date of sowing. Okay, that is called a short duration crop. If they ask that question, you should not miss. So what is a short duration crop from IRAC purpose? That is the harvest season. The harvest should be within 12 months from the date of that is sowing is called a short duration crop. So the installment of principal or interest thereon remains overdue for 2 crop seasons. For short duration crop, it will be classified as NPA. The installment of principal or interest thereon remains overdue for 1 crop season. For long duration crops, it is classified as NPA. What is a long duration crop? The harvesting is more than 12 months. If they ask that question also, you should not miss. Okay. In the case of a bills discounted, you discount the bill, no? You discount a check, you discount a bill. The bill remains overdue for a period of more than 90 days in the case of bills purchased and discounted. So you purchase a bill or you discount a check. So these things, purchase means you are discounting it and giving the money immediately. If the money given is not recovered for more than 90 days, in the case of a bills or checks discounted, the account will be classified as NPA. So what are all the things we saw for NPA? For term loan, OD-OCC out of order, OD-OCC the renewal of, submission of stock statement, OD-OCC for renewal of limit, then short duration crop, long duration crop, bills discounted. Any question asked, you should not leave it. Okay, so that is why in the last fragment I am touching upon these things. Question will definitely come, particularly the out of order, irregular, stock statement. Don't have any confusion at all on those things. Go through the slide 2-3 things. So tonight we will upload it, maybe in the PDF form or whatever form. You go through it up to test paper number 7. That is PPTs in the PDF form or whatever form it is uploaded to you. Okay, sir. Now out of order we already saw. Then there is a concept called accelerated provision. Friends, you know what are all the provisions for different categories of advances. Standard asset, there is a provision. What is the standard asset provision? Agriculture, farm credit and MSC, it is 0.25. Commercial real estate, 1%. Commercial real estate, residential housing, 0.75%. Sorry, yes. Individual housing loan sanctioned on or before 7/6/2017. It is 0.40. After 7/6/2017, 0.25. All other standard advances, 0.40. We saw in test paper number 2, isn't it? Recollect all those things. Okay. Now, with regard to provision for NPA, so we saw in test paper number 5, we also saw 4-5 workings also. If it is a substandard asset, Under substandard, you have secured substandard, unsecured substandard infrastructure, 3 categories. Then you have doubtful first year, doubtful more than 1 up to 3, doubtful more than 3. 3 categories are that. Okay. Now, if it is so what is an accelerated provision? You are supposed to classify the advances, that is, whenever that is overdue, the account should be classified as NPA. You should not going on restructuring the advances. If RBI finds out that is accounts have been simply restructured and kept in the standard account, and if it is not shown as NPA, will ask us to keep more provision. That is called accelerated provision. So they will not see small accounts at all, big accounts. At the head office, central auditors, they will go through the very big accounts. So if the accounts is evergreen, you are going on polishing the account without actual recovery. So you are not doing anything. The system is stressed asset concept and all, putting up a note, nothing is being done, particularly for the high value accounts. Small accounts here and there, you leave it. When you start doing the high value accounts, evergreen, Reserve Bank says, if we found out that is you have been evergreening the account, then you have to pay accelerated provision. You have to keep more provision. That is called accelerated provision. What is that? We will see. You know, for the secured substandard, 12 months it will be in the secured substandard, isn't it? What is the provision? 15%. Normally, for the secured substandard, the provision is 15% on the book liability without taking into account the security available. Okay. Now, so here, Reserve Bank of India has classified the secured substandard in 2 categories. The age of the NPA is up to 6 months. The age of the NPA is 6 months to 1 year. You know, secured substandard will be only for 12 months in a substandard category. All of you know. So, if the age of the secured substandard is up to 6 months, you have not shown it as NPA. The normal provision, accelerated provision is the same. There is no difference. So, you have to keep 15% only, no problem at all. On the other hand, if a secured substandard, which is the age of the NPA 6 months to 1 year, normally you will keep 15% provision. So that is secured substandard. So the 6 months to 1 year substandard secured, if you are not shown as NPA, if the age of the NPA is 6 months to 1 year, then you have to keep a provision of 25% instead of 15%. That is called accelerated provision. What is the accelerated provision for secured substandard? Up to 6 months, nothing. If the age of the NPA is 6 months to 12 months, and if you are not classifying the account as unsecured substandard, then banks have to keep a provision of 25% instead of 15%. Okay, this is called accelerated provision. If they ask, you should not miss it. Then, substandard unsecured other than infra. So what we know as secured substandard, unsecured substandard other than infrastructure. What is a normal provision for the 12 months unsecured other than infrastructure? 25%. Unsecured infrastructure other than, that is unsecured other than infrastructure, you know it is 25% provision for the entire 12 months. Okay, here we'll see. So substandard asset unsecured other than infrastructure. You know, up to 6 months, that is an unsecured infrastructure, that is other than infrastructure, it is 25% for the 12 months. So, if the asset is unsecured other than infrastructure SSA, up to 6 months, if you are not shown as NPA, there is no higher accelerated provision. It is only here also 25, here also 25, no problem. On the other hand, 6 months to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, like your secured substandard, 6 months to 1 year, if it is normally the age of the NPA is 6 months to 1 year. What is the 6 months to 1 year? The age of the NPA secured, unsecured substandard other than infrastructure is from 6 months to 1 year. And if you are not shown it as NPA, already it is more crossed the 6 months. Less than 1 year, you are not shown as unsecured substandard, other than infrastructure, you are not classified, then normally you have to keep 25%, now you have to keep 40%. Okay, 40%. Then what about the unsecured infrastructure? For unsecured infrastructure, for 12 months, substandard or provision, you have to keep 20%. So you have to keep 20% provision. So up to 6 months, if you have ever greened that account, you have to keep 25%. More here, there is no more. Up to 6 months, there is no provision. If it is unsecured substandard infrastructure, up to 6 months, if you are not shown it, because infrastructure advances will be very huge. Okay, if you are not shown it as a substandard infrastructure, then instead of 20%, you have to keep 25%. If the age of the unsecured substandard infrastructure is more than 6 months up to 1 year, you would have kept normally only 20%. Up to 12 months, you keep only 20%. No, but here you have to keep 40%. So friends, in this slide, I have explained to you the concept called accelerated provision. Normal provision, 15%, 25%, 20%. What is for 15%? Secured substandard for 12 months. What is for unsecured substandard other than infrastructure for 12 months? So 25%. For infrastructure, what is that? 20%. If the advances are not properly classified, if you continue to show them as a standard asset, then depending upon the age of the NPA, you have to keep more provision. That provision is called accelerated provision. This is for substandard. What is the accelerated provision for a doubtful asset? We'll see next slide. That is, what is a DA, doubtful asset first year. So after 12 months, the advance will go to doubtful asset first year. What is a provision for DA1? That is unsecured portion. 25% on the secured portion. That is the provision for DA1. So first 12 months, it will be in the substandard. Then it will go to doubtful or straight away to loss. That you leave it. Suppose if the advance is classified as a doubtful asset, if you are not classified as a doubtful asset, if you are classified as DA1, you will give a provision of deficit plus 25% on the secured portion. For not having classified it, you have to keep the accelerated provision of deficit plus 40% on the secured portion, even for DA1. For DA1, you have to keep deficit plus 40% on the secured portion instead of 20% on the secured portion. This is called accelerated provision. Then DA more than 1 up to 3. That is DA2, DA3. What is the provision? Deficit plus 40% on the secured portion. Normally, you have to keep, isn't it? Suppose if you are not classified the account as DA1 more than 1 up to 3, and you are not shown it, it should have been shown like that. Had you not shown it, if the RBI inspectors have found out, they will ask you to keep 100% provision on the liability, irrespective of any security available. So the accelerated provision for DA more than 1 up to 3, if it is not shown as DA more than 1 up to 3, it is 100%. Had you shown it, you will keep only this much provision. Now you have to keep 100% provision on the liability. DA more than 3, normally you will keep 100%. Accelerated also no different because you are already kept 100% provision on the liability. Okay, friends. So this is the concept called accelerated provision. If they ask the accelerated provision, or if they ask the out of order advance definition, or if they ask the irregular advance definition, or stock statement, renewal of limit, or that is all those things we explained in this 3-4 slides. So questions will definitely come. And yesterday, that is somebody has put me or somebody has told with regard to make a difference with regard to selling the TT selling rate, TT buying rate, and then bills buying rate, bill selling. So the 4 potential norm, keep that in mind. The slides also we will upload. Now, TT buying rate and TT selling rate. Okay, what is that? What is that bills buying rate, bills selling rate? What is that? That concept. Most of you are aware. Again, something for just for information. If the question is asked, you should not miss it. In India, we are quoting direct quotation. Everybody has told you that is direct quotation means $1 is equal to that is 80 rupees. $1 is equal to 85 rupees. That is called a direct quotation. In direct quotation, unit of foreign currency is fixed constant and the variation is shown in the domestic currency. We already know. Now, what is a TT? So the buying and selling. Again, I repeat, the buying and selling in Forex, you should keep in the place of the banker. Then you have to decide whether you are buying the foreign currency or whether you are selling the foreign currency. Accordingly, you have to quote the rate. Always keep yourself in the place of the banker, whether you are foreign currency or whether you are going to sell the foreign currency, keep that in your mind. So for example, one customer is coming and asking, sir, so I am getting, let us assume he's coming and giving a FDD to you. He is coming a foreign demand draft drawn on his name. He comes and gives, sir, please convert this money and give credit to my account. What you are doing? You are purchasing the foreign demand draft from him. One hand, you are getting the foreign currency. Another hand, you are crediting the Indian rupees to him. On one hand, you are purchased the foreign currency. Isn't it? So you bought the foreign currency. Any of there, nothing you did. You took the foreign currency, one hand, and you give the cash to him. So what rate you will instantly it is taking place. What rate you will give? It is called the TT buying rate. Okay, so immediately, suppose customer is coming and telling, sir, send a telegraphic transfer to abroad. Send an FITTT, sorry, he comes and asking, sir, I have got a FITTT, please convert and give credit to my account. Sir, I have an FCNR deposit, please convert and give credit in my account. So FCNR deposit is having, you are the banker, you have to buy the foreign currency from him and give credit Indian rupee. So as a banker, what you are doing, you are buying and immediately giving credit. You one hand you got the foreign currency, another hand you are that is giving Indian rupees credit. So the rate applied here is called TT buying rate. When we go to the bills buying rate, we will be able to understand the difference. Okay, the rate applied here is called bills buying rate. So that is TT buying. Here, the bank buys dollar and gives Indian rupees. Example, FCNR to be converted Indian rupees for the credit of NRE account. Foreign currency is bought by the bank and Indian rupees given to the customer. Receipt of FITT. FITT has come. Amount already credited in Nostro account. The customer is coming and telling, sir, please convert and give credit to my account. Isn't it? So the bank is purchasing the foreign currency from you. Bank buys forex and gives Indian rupee. Immediate transaction. Immediately the transaction taking place without waiting for anything. The rate is quoted, you are accepted, he is buying and you are getting the money. Similarly, selling. The customer is telling, sir, my son is studying abroad, so you transfer funds to his account there within the LRS limit of 2,50,000. So you have to sell foreign currency to him and he will give you Indian currency. Immediate. Sir, please transfer loan. You debit his account and transfer the money, isn't it? So you are taking money from him and you are transferring the funds abroad. That is outward remittance. So TT selling is outward clean remittance. Immediately, the party's account is debited, money is transferred abroad. That is, you have sold foreign currency to him, TT outward. See, for example, here you see, customer wants $1 to be sent abroad. Bank takes Indian rupee from the customer and transfer dollar to abroad. So the rate will be like this. $1 is equal to 80.25, 80.30. Here, which is the buying rate and which is the selling rate? What is the maxim in the case of a direct quote? Buy low, sell high. We already saw the maxim in the direct quote is buy low and sell high. So when it is mentioned $1 Indian rupee 80.35, 80.25 and 80.30. So when the customer gives $1 to you, you will give him 80.25 paise. Okay. On the other hand, when the customer comes and says, sir, I want $1 from you, you have to sell. No, at that time you will sell him. You will tell him, you give me 80.30 paise. So in a direct quotation, the axiom is buy low, sell high. So if the rate is given INR 80.25 and 80.30 TT, if it is mentioned here, this is TT buying rate and this is TT selling rate. So in direct quotation, bank will buy low and sell high. So Indian rupees 80.25 is the buying rate and Indian rupees 80.30 is the selling rate. Bank will buy $1 from the customer at the rate of 80.25 and sell the dollar to them at the rate of 80.30. Which means when a customer gives $1 to the bank, he will get 80.25, and when he buys from the bank $1, he has to pay 80.30. So buy low, sell high. This is T. So they put TT rates 80.25 and 80.30, $1 if you see it. That means the bank will buy $1 from you at the rate of 80.25, whereas the bank will sell to you at the rate of 80.30. Immediate transactions are, you come and give the Indian currency, you get the foreign currency and go. Or you hand over the foreign currency, your account will be credited, you go. Immediate transaction, no more work for you or for the bank here. On the other hand, when the bills buying rate is applied, then we go to this, there is bills selling rate. Very simple. When the bills buying rate is applied, for example, this is immediate transfer. Suppose your customer is an export customer. Your customer is an export customer. What he has done, he has exported goods abroad. He has exported goods abroad. The other bank has drawn an LC and all. So he has exported the goods to the, that is foreign importer, foreign buyer, isn't it? So he should get the money, no? So he has to draw a bill. The bill will be in foreign currency, okay? So your export customer has exported certain goods to abroad. So he has, for exporting the goods, he has to get some money. The money will not come immediately because so many conditions are there in the bill, no? Whether the bill that is your goods are all as per the bill drawn, etc. So many things will be there. The money will not come. Handling, everything will take place. So the customer will draw an export bill and he will come and tell, sir, I have exported the goods. So I have drawn an export bill. The bill has to go to abroad. The importer will pay the money to me. Till such time, I want money urgently. So what as a banker you will do, you will take the export bill. You will take the export bill means what? You will purchase the export bill, discount and give credit in his Indian rupees to the customer immediately. So what you are doing, the bills buying, what you are doing, the exporter is drawing a bill. The bill has to go abroad through proper channel, that bank, this bank, so many banks. So then finally the importer will pay the money, then your escrow account will be credited. Subsequently, then the importer will get, but the exporter will get. But the exporter does not want to wait for so many times. He is coming and discounting, sir, I have $1,000, that is a export bill, please discount you will give. So you will keep some margin, 25% margin, 75% of that you will discount. And what rate you will discount? You will discount at bills selling rate. It is not, here the TT selling rate is 80.25. You will discount it at a bill selling rate. The bills selling rate will be further less than the TT selling rate. The bills selling rate, buying rate. The bills buying rate will be further less than the TT buying rate. Why? Because when he immediately you purchase a foreign currency from him, you get the foreign currency, you give credit 80.25. But here what happens? He gives an export bill to you. You will not get the foreign currency immediately. It has to go abroad. After some time only, you will get the foreign currency. You have to handle the bills, documents in between. Lot of work is involved for you. So what you will say, sir, if I discount the export bill and give credit to your account, I will not give 80.25. There is some margin on that. So that is, I will give that more for an, sorry, if it is TT buying is 80.25, the bills buying will be less than that 80.25. The margin in the case of a buying rate, the margin will be subtracted from the TT buying rate. Let us see the slide. See, what is the bills buying and selling rate? Selling rate, once you know one rate, automatically other rate. An Indian exporter export goods abroad and he draws a bill in the overseas importer in the foreign currency. The bill to be sent abroad and the exporter will get the payment after some time, say 30 days or 45 days, etc., depending upon the USAN's bill. The exporter needs money immediately. He approaches the bank for discounting the export bill denominated in foreign currency. So that means you are buying the foreign currency and you have to give Indian rupees to him. Bank to buy the forex from the exporter, not actual forex, export bill drawn in foreign currency. Bank to buy the forex from the exporter and credit the account in Indian rupee. This is called the export bill discounting. So under export bill discounting, you are buying the foreign bill and crediting Indian rupees to his customer. Here, what rate you will apply? That rate is called bills buying rate. So TT buying rate, how much? 80.20. Here, the rate what you are going to apply is called bills buying rate. The rate is the rate is buying rate, but bills buying rate. What is that bills buying rate? We'll see the slide. Okay, here in the case of an export, if discounting on export bill, bank is immediately giving credit to the Indian rupee to the customer's account, but bank will get the foreign currency only after some time. Delay is involved. Here, immediate outlay of funds for the bank without any inward remittance of forex. Whereas in the TT, what happens? He gives you $1. Immediately you are giving credit to his Indian rupee, isn't it? Either he gives FITT or he gives you FDD or he says FCNR deposit close and give credit to my account. So in the TT buying, you are buying immediately foreign currency, one hand you are giving credit. Here what happens? You buy only the export bill. You are not getting the forex immediately. You have to wait for some time, but 75% of the amount you already credited to the customer's account, isn't it? That is bills buying rate. So here, immediate outlay of funds for bank takes place without any immediate word remittances in forex immediately. Important document, no. So these documents has to go to the other bank, that bank, acceptance bank, this bank, and that bank. It goes finally to has to go to the other end. So everything is involved. A lot of risk the bank is taking. So taking into account the bank fixed margin. So suppose TT buying is 8.20. If the bank's raise 0.10 is the margin for me, then it will fix the bills buying rate at the rate of 80.101. The margin deduct from the buying rate to arrive at bills buying rate. Hence, the bills buying rate will be less than the TT buying rate. TT, if you give $1, bank gives credit to the account immediately 80.20. But if you give an export bill, bank will give to your credit only 80.10. So in the case of your buying for the export bill, the rate by bills buying rate will be less than TT buying rate. The margin will be deducted from the TT buying rate. So the bills buying rate will be, say, $1 is equal to 80.10. The exporter will get only 80.10, which is less than the TT buying rate of 80.25. I do not know. It should be 80.20, isn't it? 80.25. Okay, the TT buying rate was 80.25. Correct. So after applying the margin, 0.15 is the margin. Yes, 80.25, no, TT buying rate. Whereas here, the bills buying rate is 80.10. 0.15 is the bank's margin. The margin will be deducted in the case of a buying rate. Okay, the exporter will get only 80.10 for $1. Whereas if it is TT buying rate, immediate encashment of foreign currency, the person who is encashing the foreign currency will get 80.25. Okay, so now you know the mechanism of that is subtracting the margin from the TT buying rate. So the TT buying rate will be less than the bills buying rate. The opposite in the case of a TT selling rate and a bill selling rate. Okay, the opposite in the case of a TT selling rate or bill selling rate. I will just explain to you. 2 minutes will go to our exam, our question. Bill selling rate. The import bill comes. So your customer is an import customer. Import bill comes abroad. So in the foreign currency. So you have to debit customer's account and send the foreign currency abroad, isn't it? What you are doing, you are selling the foreign currency to the customer. In the case of a retirement of import bill, you are selling the foreign currency to the customer. That is, his account, Indian account will be debited and foreign currency. You will not give the foreign currency to him. You will send it abroad. Okay, this is an import bill retirement. What happens? Bank to sell the forex to the import customer and take Indian rupees from him in the case of retirement of an import bill. With the TT selling rate, so with the what was the TT selling rate there? So TT selling rate, we will see TT is 80.30. Okay. Here, with the TT selling rate, bank will add the margin. So with the bills TT buying rate, what the bank did, the bank subtracted the margin. The bank will give only lesser rupee because handling charges, many things are involved. So bank will give the lesser rupee. When the TT selling rate is there, when how to convert the TT selling rate into that is bills selling rate. So the margin will be added. That is earlier to get $1 TT selling rate, to get $1, the customer account will be debited to the extent of 80.30. Now if the margin is 0.20, the bill selling rate will be 80.50. That is, the bank will debit your account for $1 to the extent of 80.50. So in TT selling, bank will release US dollar 80.30, but in bill selling, the same US dollar, that is, bank will release only 80 point. So the bank will debit to the customer's account 80.50. So the bills buying rate will be less than the TT buying rate. That is bills selling rate will be more than the TT selling rate. This is the margin for the bank. This is the margin for the bank. So that is the logic of, sir, why TT buying rate is more, TT buying rate is less, bills buying rate is less, then bill selling rate is more as compared to TT rates. The margin in one it is subtracted, in the margin other it is added, because the maxim is buy low, sell high in direct quotation. Okay, sir, I think all of you are clear on this. Now, let us move to our question paper. Very important today. Okay, test number 8. Okay, sir, test number 8. Okay, so quickly we'll go through. Then the question paper also simultaneously will slide. I think question paper also I got minimize rate. Good. So first 2-3 slides we will see, sir. Okay, so sorry. Test paper number 8. Okay. So method of working capital assessment. Now by this time, all of you are experts. So we can anyway, exam is also going to approach on 13th, another 3-4 days. All of you are experts. By this time, you know everything. So methods of working capital assessment. Quickly, we will go through 4-5 problems. We will do other things. It is for your homework. If the time is not sufficient for us today. Okay. Other thing for your homework, you put it and let us see how it is being worked out. There are 3 methods for working capital assessment. One is the Nayak committee method or the turnover method. Okay, the Nayak committee method, most of us will be doing only small, but for people who are in the ELB and BLB, for all the levels of senior manager or executives, they'll be handling the high level proposal. But most of us, on a day-to-day purpose, creating a small branch or medium branch, etc., we would not handle that much big proposal, but for exceptional, they are also highly knowledgeable. Okay, let us not underestimate anybody's knowledge in the bank. Okay, sir. So the methods of working capital assessment is divided into 3 methods. Turnover method, this is called the Nayak committee method. So under the Nayak committee method, if the exposure, if the borrower requires a loan up to 5 crores, and if he is MSC, not MSME, please remove it from your mind. Okay, if the borrower requires an exposure or loan up to 5 crores, and if he is an MSC borrower, you have to classify and you can grant loan to him as per RBI guidelines under the Nayak committee method, turnover method. What is that? We will see in detail. Okay, what I want to tell is, if the borrower is an MSC borrower, not MSME, please hear in your ears, at least 3 days you keep it with you. So if the borrower is micro small enterprises, not micro small medium enterprises. Friends, you know, CGTMSC cover is available only for MSC borrowers. CGTMSC cover is not available for MSME borrowers. Okay. Similarly, that is standard asset provision for MSC, it is only 0.25. It should be very clear, because example, they'll give MSME. By seeing the M first word, last word you should not take. Okay. In between SE is there or SME is there, you have to see. Okay. So under the Nayak committee method, if the quantum of exposure required is 5 crores, and if it is an MSC unit, then you have to work out the working capital limit based on the turnover method. For other cases, for other than MSC, up to 2 crores for financing, the Nayak committee method, turnover method to be used. Again, I repeat. So working capital method is into 3 categories: Nayak committee method, then tandem committee method, and then cash budget method. Okay, if they ask one word in one, that is some questions, which method, that also you should be able to understand. That's why I'm explaining to you. So under the working capital requirement, under the turnover method, which is given by the Nayak committee, if the exposure loan requirement is up to 5 crores, if it is an MSC, that is party, you have to go by the working turnover method. If it is other than MSC party, then up to 2 crores, you can assess his working capital requirement as per the turnover method. So as per the turnover method, the working capital, that is a difference, keep that in mind. That is a difference between working capital and working capital limit. Okay, as per the working capital limit is the limit you will give. So total working capital you will assess, out of which you will give one portion as the loan and the balance portion will be brought as the margin by the borrower. First, you will assess the working capital requirement. Out of the working capital, a portion will be given as the loan, which is called working capital limit, and the balance will be brought in by the borrower in the form of margin. That is promoter's contribution. Okay. Working capital, as per the Nayak committee method, working capital, not working capital limit. As per the Nayak committee recommendation, the working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Okay, working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover. These two things to keep in mind. As per the Nayak committee or turnover method, working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover. That means what? The working capital is, what is the working capital? You calculated the working capital of 25%. The working capital is shared between the bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20. Next slide, I'll give the example, you will understand. Again, I repeat, as per the Nayak committee method, for which advances it is applicable, MSC up to 5 crores, others up to 2 crores. The Nayak committee turnover method is applicable. So as per the committee, the working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover. That means the working capital is divided between the borrower, bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20, 4:1. Next slide, when you see, you will understand. See, example, the projected turnover is rupees 400 lakhs. The projected turnover is rupees 400 lakhs. Working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Answer is 100 lakhs. Very simple. If the projected turnover is 4, projected means next year how much he is going to produce. Projected turnover, projected sales, any word will be used. Actual sales and projected sales are last 2 years this much I have produced, this year I am going to produce this much. Projected balance sheet you have heard, no? So projected sales or projected turnover is nothing but next year how much he is going to produce. If he says the projected turnover is 400 and it is acceptable to you, you have to accept it. So he cannot say last 2 years he manufactured only 200. This year he cannot say I am projecting 1,000 lakhs. No, it's not possible. Okay, you cannot accept it. So as per the projected, suppose if the projected turnover is 400 lakhs, the working capital is, as per the Nayak committee, 25% of the projected turnover. With 25% of 400 is 100. But is working capital limit 20% of the projected turnover. We saw the first slide. So 20% of 400 is 80. So the working capital is 100. Working capital limit is 80. So what is the difference? So working capital requirement is 100, whereas the working capital that is going to be given by the bank is only 80. That means the promoter's margin is 20 lakhs. Keep that in mind, because when you do the problems, you will understand it. So what I told you, so the working capital 100 lakhs is divided between the bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20. Working capital is divided between the bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20. That is 4:1. So working capital is 100. This is divided between the bank and the borrower. So that is what is the out of this working capital, how much bank has to give loan? 80%. 80% of 100 is 80. And how much the promoter has to bring margin? 20%. So 20 of 100 lakhs is equal to 20. Why I have given here? In the example, if they ask, the working capital is dash percent of that is turnover. So you write 25% of projected turnover, no problem. Suppose if they give the working capital limit is dash percentage of the projected turnover, 20% of the projected turnover. Suppose if they give in the exam, the working capital is 100 lakhs. What they are giving, they are not given the work turnover. They are not given the projected turnover. What they are given in the exam, the working capital is 100 lakhs. What is the working capital limit? What is the promoter's margin? If they ask, the working capital 100 lakhs is divided between the bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20. We got the point? Suppose if they ask, if they give the turnover and they ask what is the working capital, yeah, that is 25% of the turnover. If they ask what is the working capital limit out of the turnover, 20% of the turnover is the working capital limit. So if they give the turnover, you have to work out 25%, 20%. If they give the working capital, then you have to work out the ratio 80:20. That is why I have clarified you to this level. Okay, you should not miss out anything. Then, so this is how we are going to calculate working capital limit as far as the turnover method or Nayak committee method is concerned. The another method is the tandem committee, which is called, here we will calculate the working capital based on maximum permissible bank finance, MPBF, all of you are aware. It is maximum permissible bank finance. For which type of accounts we will use the tandem committee? For which type of accounts we will use the Nayak committee? If it is MSC, up to 5 crores. For others, up to 2 crores. We will calculate the working capital limit or working capital based on that one. Okay. Now, if it is tandem committee, for which type of low parties we will use the MPBF method? If it is MSC borrower and the exposure is more than 5 crores, up to 5 crores, working turnover method. If it is an MSC borrower, if that is working capital requirement is more than 5 crores, and in the case of other borrowers where it is more than 2 crores, so in both the cases, if it is MSC borrower, more than 5 crores up to 25 crores. MSC borrower, more than 5 crores up to 25 crores. Others, more than 2 crores up to 25 crores. We will adopt the MPBF method, or that is tandem committee recommendation. Under the tandem committee recommendation, very, very simple. There are 3 methods. Now the third method we are not using. We will forget the third method. Let us see the method 1 and method 2. If they ask the question, you should not miss. So under the method 1, how the working capital limit is fixed by the bank. The working capital limit fixed by the bank under method 1, the working capital limit, that is what banks load. The working capital limit as per the tandem committee first method is working capital gap minus 25% of the working capital gap. The 25% of the working capital gap is the promoter's margin. Under the tandem committee method 1, the working capital limit is calculated taking into account the working capital gap minus the margin of the promoter. So the margin of the promoter is 25% of the working capital gap as per the first method. What is working capital gap? The working capital gap is current asset minus current liability other than short-term bank borrowings. So current liability other than ODOCC, the OCC limit. So that is short-term bank borrowings. So the working capital gap is current asset of the party minus the current liability. Already the balance sheet class, they would have told you what is the current asset, what is the current liability, isn't it? So that is why I am not going in depth over that. So the working capital gap is current asset minus current liability. The current, and you should not subtract the entire current liability. What is the short-term bank borrowing? That is your ODOCC, then the balance sheet. So you subtract from the current liability, that you work out, that is called working capital gap. So again, I repeat, as per the tandem committee, that is MPBF method, first method, the working capital limit released by the bank will be working capital gap minus, that is margin of the promoter. So what is the margin of the promoter? If they ask in the exam, it is 25% of the working capital gap. What is working capital gap? Current asset minus current liability other than short-term bank borrowing. Very simple. Then method 2. Under method 2, how you work out there is a working capital requirement, the working capital limit of the borrower. Under method 2 will be working capital gap. Again, so again the working capital gap minus the margin of the promoter. What is the margin? Here the margin we will calculate 25% of the current asset. Here what margin we have taken? 25% of the working capital gap. Here we are going to take the margin as 25% of the current asset of the borrower. If they ask in the question, as per the tandem committee method 2, what is the margin the borrower has to bring? 25% of the working capital, 25% of the current asset, 25% of the core current asset. If they ask, so you should be able to write under method 2, the margin of the borrower is 25% of the current asset. For what you will use the Tandem committee method, MSC borrowers more than 5 crores and other borrowers more than 2 crores, both the borrowers up to 25 crores, we will use the Tandem committee method. Okay, this is the second method of working capital assessment. When you come for that is managers development program or senior managers development program or executives development program, we will in depth, we will discuss with lot of case studies. Okay, now we are seeing only from the examination point of view. Okay, sir. Now this slide. Then the third method of working capital assessment is for cash budget method. Okay, the third working, that is assessment of the working capital limit by the banks, is cash budget method here. So for doing a work, what is the cash inflow, what is the time it takes, and cash outflow. Between the time, how much money the borrower requires. Cash inflow and cash outflow, the cash budget method. How much the borrower requires. Generally, for exposure of more than 25 crores, for loans of more than 25 crores, we will use the cash budget method. So, you know, up to 5 crores, up to 2 crores, above 5 crores, up to 25 crores, above 2 crores, up to 25 crores, above 25 crores. If the requirement of loan is above 25 crores, generally, based on the CMA data, we will do the cash budget method. There are certain industries, like industries which are in seasonal nature, like for example, tea, sugar cane, and then there is certain industries like software development, film industry. Here also, in these industries, irrespective of the loan quantum, we use only cash budget method. Again, I repeat, cash budget method we will use when the loan requirement is 25 crores or above 25 crores. Okay, the one point. However, there are certain industries like seasonal industries like tea, or you take sugar cane, or for example, software production development, or film that is industry. For these types of industries, irrespective of the loan quantum, NBFC, non-banking financial companies, irrespective of the loan quantum, even if these industries requires 1 crore, 2 crore, you will do only a cash budget method. Normally, above 25 crores is the cash budget method, but these types of industries, you will do cash budget method even if it is 1 crore or 2 crores, irrespective of the loan quantum. If they ask in the exam, you should not miss it. Now, let us go to our question paper and see how the question is. You will be able to answer all the questions without any problem now. Okay, sir. First question. As per RBI guideline, turnover method, Nayak committee, to assess the working capital is used where the working capital limit is up to rupees 500 lakhs in respect of MSME loans. True or false? Answer is false, because I given here MSME loans. I told you up to 500 loans or 500 lakhs only in MSC, it is true. So I have given here MSME, so the answer is wrong. It is only for MSC. Okay, sir. First question, answer is false. Question number 2. Under the turnover method, minimum working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Under the turnover method, the working capital, not the working capital limit, the working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Working capital limit, third point, the working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover. Hello. நம்ம சர்க்குலர் MSME தான் போட்டுருக்காங்க. MSC தான் RBI guidelines பிரகாரம். See, that somebody has telephoned to me and told that somewhere they have put MSME up to 500 lakhs. See, as per that is, you see the first point, as per RBI guidelines, as per Reserve Bank of India guidelines, if you want to give even for any other customer, you can get there should internal guidelines. What I told you, the RLLR. The concept of RLLR, as per RBI guidelines, it is applicable for retail and MSC with effect from 1st October 2019. But in our bank, the RLLR concept we started using even for MSME from 1st October 2019. The MSM, the medium enterprise, RBI has told it is sufficient if we charge RLLR from 1st April 2020. In our bank, we have been charging the RLLR from 1st October October 2019, not only for MSC, even for MSME. You see the circular 501/2019. When the circular has come, there they are told, first paragraph they are given the RBI guideline. Second paragraph they are told, in our bank for MSME we are going to charge RLLR. So you have to see the question front. Somebody now telephoned to me, sir, we are told in MSME. So you are so liberal. Even for MSME, you are going in for up to 5 crores working capital. There is turnover method only because advances is not picking up with the bank. Okay. As per RBI guidelines, the turnover method to assess the working capital is used where the working capital limit is up to 500 lakhs in respect of MSME loans. As per RBI guidelines, it is for MSC. Okay, answer is false. Second question. Under the turnover method, the minimum working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Question number 3. Working capital limit. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover, which we saw in the PowerPoint. Point number 4. As per Nayak committee, the calculated working capital. As per Nayak committee, the calculated working capital will be fine. So working capital. So here, first two things, they are given the projected turnover. They asked you how much working capital, how much loan component. So you told 25% and 20%. Suppose if they give the working capital, how much loan, how much the promoter's margin, what ratio? 80:20, which we saw. So question number 4, as per Nayak committee, the calculated working capital will be financed by the bank to the extent of 80% of the working capital and borrower's margin is 20% of the working capital. If working capital is given and they ask you what is the working capital limit, 80% of the working capital. If turnover is given, if they ask you what is the working capital, 25% of the turnover. Okay, you should be very clear. That is why I am making it very clear the question paper. Okay, so question number 4, as per the Nayak committee, the calculated working capital will be financed by the bank to the extent of 80% of the working capital and borrower's margin is 20% of the working capital, 4:1. As per Nayak committee recommendations, the working capital requirements is to be met by the bank and the borrower in the ratio of 80:20 or 4:1. Question number 5, answer is 80:20 or 4:1. Okay. Which one of the following is not a component of working capital? Which one of the following is not a component of working capital? Stocks, receivables, security deposit for electricity, EB, vehicles in the case of a vehicle dealer, land in the case of a land developer. So working capital, so which are not a component. So you would have read in the balance sheet. Stocks, it is a working capital component. Receivables, it is sundry debtors, it is a working capital component. Vehicles in the case of a vehicle dealer, it is a working capital for him, isn't it? He is selling, buying, and he is coming, and dealer is selling it. So it is a working capital. Land, he is having a land, it is a working capital for him. Whereas security deposit for EB is not a part of a working capital. Okay, security deposit for EB. Which one of the following is not a component of working capital? So here it is security deposit for EB. Question number 6, security deposit for EB is not a component of working capital. Okay, sir. Now let us quickly go through, do some mathematics. I will show the PowerPoint also. If you have pen and paper, you note it down. It will be good for you. Okay, question number 7. We are going to do question number 7. As per Nayak committee, the working capital limit shall be minimum rupees dash if the sales for the past year's 200 lakhs and for the next year it is 300 lakhs. So what we are seeing, sir, what they are asking, sir, working capital limit. What they are given, sir? So they are given projected sales. So sales for the last year, you don't worry. As per the working capital method, sales for the last year, so we are not going to calculate the working capital based on the sales for the last year. We will calculate the sales for the, taking into account the sales for the next year only, we will calculate the either the working capital or working capital limit. Okay. So for the next year, what is the sales? 300 lakhs. For the next year, the sales is 300 lakhs. As per the Nayak committee, the working capital limit shall be minimum dash rupees if the sales for the past year is 200 and the next year is 300. So working capital limit will be 20% of the projected sales. Okay, you see the PowerPoint, you'll understand. See, question number 7 we are discussing. What is the last year sales? 200. Forget it. Next year sales, how much? 300. So what they are asked in the exam? Not working capital. They asked working capital limit. The working capital limit is 20% of the projected sales, which you already seen in the PowerPoint. So the working capital limit is 20% of the projected sales. 20% of 300 is 60 lakhs. So that is the working capital limit for the firm will be based on the Nayak committee method. The answer for question number 7 is 60 lakhs. The answer for question number 7 is 60 lakhs. Okay, sir. Now let us see the question number 8. Question number 8. You should have the question paper by this time. It is made available to you long back. Okay. The estimated sales turnover is 80 lakhs. What do you mean by estimated sales turnover? The projected sales turnover. So the estimated sales turnover is 80 lakh. Calculate the working capital and working capital limit. So if the estimated sales is 80, the working capital is how much percent? 25% of 80. So the working capital is 25% of the projected sales. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected sales. Okay, sir. Very simple. Question number 8. So these questions I will close. So we will keep only. Okay, this will see. So estimated sales turnover is 80 lakhs. That is projected sales. Working capital, 25% of the projected sale. Working capital is 20 lakhs. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected sales, which is 16 lakhs. 20% of 80, it is 16. Working capital is 20 lakhs and working capital limit is 16 lakhs. Suppose in the exam, had they given the working capital 20 lakhs. Suppose had they given the working capital is 20 lakhs. What is the working capital limit? It is 4:1. 80:20 you have to calculate. Then you have to say it is 60 lakhs. Okay, so working capital limit is 4:1, isn't it? So here they are given the projected sales. Simply they are asking what is the working capital. If they give the turnover, the working capital is 25% of the projected turnover. Working capital limit is 20% of the projected turnover. So 25 and 20, 20 and 16. Working capital is 20 lakhs and working capital limit is 16 lakhs. That is the answer for this question. Okay, that is the answer for this question. Good, sir. Then we'll go to the next question. Question number 9. A unit with a projected turnover of 30 lakhs approaches your branch for working capital limit. But they are asked, you read the question very carefully. Question number 9 we are reading. A unit with a projected turnover of 30 lakhs approaches your branch for working capital limit. What will be the minimum amount of working capital to be assessed for this firm? What they are asking in the question, what will be the minimum level of working capital to be assessed for the firm? If the turnover is given, the working capital is 25% of the turnover. So the firm approaches you for working capital limit. But what they are asking, what will be the minimum amount of working capital to be assessed for this firm? So here working capital limit, but they are asking you the question, what is the minimum working capital to be assessed for the firm? The minimum working capital to be assessed for the firm is 25% of 30 lakhs. 25% of 30 lakhs. Okay, sir. Next slide. Projected turnover is 20 lakhs. Working capital to be assessed for this firm is 25% of 30 lakhs. Answer is 7.50. The working capital for the firm is 7.50, which is 25% of the projected turnover. Okay, quickly we will go through. Then question number 10, you see, a unit has been sanctioned a working capital limit of rupees 30 lakhs at 20% of the projected turnover. Okay, what here so far in the sums we saw projected turnover they are given. They asked you what is the working capital or what is the working capital limit. But what they are given the working capital. They are given the working capital. They are asking you to find out the projected sales. So question number 10, a unit has been sanctioned a working capital limit of 30 lakhs at 20% of the projected turnover. Yes. Always the working capital limit is 20% on the projected turnover. Here the working capital limit for the firm is 30 lakhs. It is at 20% of the projected turnover. The question is, what is the projected turnover? Okay, Ulta, what is the projected turnover? Very simple. All of you aware by this time how to do it. So let the projected turnover be X. You take the projected turnover, that is first standard mathematics. The projected turnover is X. So 20% of the projected turnover is the working capital limit. All of you know. 20%, that is the mantra is 25% of the projected turnover is the working capital. 20% of the projected turnover is the working capital limit. That mantra you keep in mind. So 20% of the projected turnover is the working capital limit. WC is the working capital limit. So what is the projected turnover? X. 20% of X is equal to 30. What is X? Yes, X is equal to 150. 20% of X is equal to 30 is 20 by 100 into X is to 30. X is equal to 30 into 100 by 20. Mathematics, no, very simple mathematics. So you should be thorough in mathematics. This is going to applicable in the banking also. Computer will not do, no, in the exam you have to do. So let the projected turnover be X. 20% of the projected turnover is the working capital limit. So 20% of X projected turnover is equal to 30 lakhs. 20% of, so they gave you in the exam, the working capital limit is 30 lakhs. In the exam, in the question paper, they are given the working capital limit is 30 lakhs. So 20% of the projected turnover is 30 lakhs. So what is X? X is equal to 150 lakhs. So in this question, they have given you the working capital limit. They ask you to find out the projected turnover. So 20% of the projected turnover, which is X, is equal to 30 lakhs. So what is X? X is equal to 150 lakhs. So if the projected turnover is 150 lakhs, then the working capital will be 20% of that 150, which is 30. Okay, sir? So projected turnover is 150 lakhs. Okay, next question. Sorry, we'll see the question paper. Question number 11. The calculated working capital is 100 lakhs as per the turnover method. What is that? See this question you see. The calculated working capital is 100 lakhs as per the turnover method. What is the promoter's margin? So the working capital is divided between the bank and the promoter in the ratio of 80:20. So here they are given the working capital. They are asking you to find out what is the promoter's margin. So if the working capital is given, the bank loan will be 80% of the working capital and promoter's margins 20% of the working capital. So what is the working capital? 100 lakhs. Okay, question number 11 we see. Very simple question. Question number 11. Number 11. Yes. So working capital is 100 lakhs. How much working capital? 100 lakhs. Working capital limit is 80% of the working capital. That is in the ratio of 80:20. So 80% of 100 lakhs is equal to 80. Borrower's margin is 20% of the working capital. If the working capital is given, the bank loan will be 80% of the working capital and the borrower's margin is 20% of the working capital. 100 lakhs is the working capital. The borrower's margin is 20% of the 100 lakhs, which is rupees 20 lakhs. So for question number 11, the promoter's margin is rupees 20 lakhs. Question number 11, the promoter's margin is 20 lakhs. Okay, question number 12, we will see. Bank A determined the minimum working capital amount as rupees 200 lakhs in favor of a borrower. Bank A determined the minimum working capital amount as rupees 200 lakhs. What is that? Working capital amount, not working capital limit. So you have to read the question very thoroughly, whether it is working capital or working capital limit. Okay. Bank A determined the minimum working capital only, not working capital limit. Amount is 200 lakhs in favor of the borrower. What is the projected levels of sales? See, the working capital is 200 lakhs. So very simple, no? Which we are some we have done. 25% of the projected sales is the working capital. We already know. So what is X? That's all. Very simple. So question number 12. Question number 12. Very quickly we will do. See, 25% of the projected turnover is the working capital. Okay, so the working capital is 200 lakhs they are given. So 25% of X is equal to 200. What is X is 800. So if the working capital is 200 lakhs, so what is the projected turnover? So 25% of the projected turnover is the working capital. So 25% of X is equal to 200. What is X? X is equal to 800, which is the projected sales. Very, very simple. Okay, so this type of questions here and there, if you come, you should not miss it. Then question number 16, 13, 14, what is there? We'll see. Okay, sir. This you see, all of you should be able to answer. Which one of the following will not be considered, question number 13 we are doing. Which of the following will not be considered while calculating drawing power by banks? So far what we saw, sir, up to question paper number 12, we saw calculation of working capital limit, borrower's margin or projected sales based on the Nayak committee recommendation. Question number 1 to 12, we saw that is working capital calculation or working capital limit calculation or promoter's margin or calculation of the projected sales based on the Nayak committee recommendation. The 25-20, 80-20 you should keep in mind. If you keep in mind, any problem you will be able to solve. So now the next stage we are going to in this question paper, calculation of the drawing power. So what is drawing power, sir? Suppose if the limit, let us assume you are given 100 lakhs. If the limit you are given 100 lakhs, so if that is the limit 100 lakhs, first you have calculated, you told bank is going to give you a limit of 100 lakhs. So, and if you say a margin is 25% on stocks, to avail the 100 lakhs, he should have sufficient stock. If he is not having sufficient stock, after calculating the margin, even though his limit is 100 lakhs, you will not allow him to draw 100 lakhs. If he has already drawn 100 lakhs, you will ask him to reduce it. You will ask him to bring money and reduce it. Again, I repeat. So limit, drawing power. So there are that is limit and drawing power. There is a concept called notional drawing power that we will see when the exam, that is mathematics comes. So limit, drawing power. So the drawing power will be either equal to the limit or less than the limit. Drawing power cannot be more than the limit. So limit is the maximum he can draw in a month. That depends upon what? That depends upon the stock and the margin prescribed by the sanction. Okay, so the drawing power is the maximum amount the borrower can draw in a month, whatever may be the limit fixed by the bank within the limit. So that means the drawing power can be either equal to the limit or less than the limit. It cannot be more than the limit. Okay, now, so which question number 13? So to calculate the drawing power, what are the things you will take into account? You will take stocks or inventories. You will take stock, inventory, and then you have to see in the balance sheet whether any trade receivables are there, or you have to see whether sundry debtors are there, or whether you have to see trade payable or sundry creditors. Okay, stock, this inventory you have to take. So you have to calculate a concept known as paid stock. So that is the calculation of DP is on paid stock and trade receivable or sundry debtors. Okay, the calculation of DP is on paid stock plus trade receivables or sundry debtors. Suppose out of the total stock, if you have a stock and there is a sundry creditor, so in the balance sheet, inventory is there, sundry creditor is also there. What is a sundry creditor? You have purchased the stock and you are not yet paid the money to him. That is the sundry creditors. So 100 lakhs is the stock. So you should not calculate your DP on the entire 100 lakhs. You have to find out in the current liability side, any debtors or creditors are there. Who are all the creditors? Creditors are the people for whom you are yet to pay the money, but stock already received. Similarly, in the current liability side, you have to see, on the balance sheet, you have to see, is there any goods received under LC? So like sundry creditors, if any goods received under LC is there, that also to be subtracted from the stock or inventory to find out the paid stock. Friends, always DP to be calculated. There is a drawing power. What is drawing power? What is the maximum he can draw out of the limit given? So the drawing power can be equal to or that is less than the limit. It cannot be more than the limit at any point of time. How to arrive at the drawing power? You have to see what is the stock available or what is the inventory. Another word is inventory. In the balance sheet under the current asset, any sundry debtors are there. What is sundry debtors? Your book debts. Your book debts is a sundry debtor. You are sold on credit basis. That you can take. On the other hand, if there is a sundry creditor, what is a sundry creditor? You purchase the stock, you are yet to make the payment. or any goods received under LC, ILC. That is, goods are already received under LC, but those goods you are not yet paid. LC is not yet retired. So those cases also sundry, that is creditors, and goods received under ILC for which payment is yet to be made, those things should be subtracted from the stock. That stock is called paid stock. So DP to be arrived only on the paid stock, not on the total stock. If they're not given anything about the unpaid paid, you take the total stock. If they're given any, that is sundry creditors or something like that, you have to remove from the, that is total stock to work out the your what is concept your DP. So when you do 2-3 examples, you will come to know which of the following will not be considered while calculating the drawing power by banks. Stocks you will consider, debtors you will consider, creditors you will consider, cash you will not consider. Question number 13, cash will not be taken to work out the drawing power. So first 3 is correct, D is not correct. So answer for question number 13, it is D. Okay, question number 14. The drawing power is calculated based on stocks, stocks and debtors minus unpaid stocks, stocks and debtors plus unpaid stock. So the drawing power will be arrived based on stocks and debtors minus unpaid stock. What is an unpaid stock? Sundry creditors or goods received under LC. They are all unpaid stock. So the drawing power is arrived taking into account the stocks and the debtors, sundry debtors or book debts, whatever you call, stocks and debtors minus unpaid stock. And what is unpaid stock? Sundry creditors and goods received under ILC, etc. So the answer for question number 14 is C. Okay, the answer for question number 14 is C. The drawing power can be equal to the sanctioned working capital limit, equal to or higher than the working capital limit, equal or lower than the working capital limit, lower or equal to sanctioned working capital limit. So out of the 4 options, the appropriate option, you see, all are more or less close, no? So people will come and sorry, exam is very easy, sir, but answers are confusing. Okay, you see, that is what I told you, the drawing power will be equal to or less than the sanctioned limit by the bank. You are sanctioned a limit. So the drawing power by the borrower will be either equal or less than the sanctioned limit given by the bank. So lower or equal to the sanctioned working capital limit. For question number 15, answer is D. The drawing power can be lower or equal to the sanctioned working capital limit. Question number 15, answer is D. Okay, now we are going to do the working capital calculation. I do not know how much time we'll be having. Today you are having a test also. So I will try to finish maximum, or we'll see some other time we'll be able to do. Okay, question number 16. Now calculate the drawing power if limit is rupees 40 lakhs, security is 50 lakhs, and margin is 30%. Very simple. So what is the limit sanction? Limit sanction is 40 lakhs. What is the security? Security means your stocks, let's assume. So here they are not given anything about sundry debtors, sundry creditors, ILC, goods received, etc. Nothing they are told. They are given very simply. So they calculate the drawing power. So if the limit, you have fixed a limit of 40 lakhs, the security available is 50 lakhs, there is a margin of 30 lakhs. So what is the margin 30% means what? Out of the security of 50 lakhs, 70% you can avail loan. Okay, that is very simple. When you say margin is 30%, the security is 50%. Security is 50%. When the margin is 30, the loan that can be availed is 70% of the 50. When you calculate the 70% of 50, you get a figure, no? That figure is called notional DP. Okay, so security value is there, stock value is there. So with the stock value, you find out what is that is loan amount. So margin is 30, so 70% he can get the loan. 70% of 50, the 70% of the 50, the figure he is getting, that figure is the notional DP. You have to find out first what is the notional DP. Then you have to see what is the limit. So the DP will be limit or notional DP, whichever is less. Okay, so in some exam they ask what is a notional DP. People will come and ask me, sir, what is notional DP? Let us explain the concept here now to you. So margin is 30%. That means 70% he can avail the loan. The security is 50%. So calculate the figure 70% of 50. The figure what you are getting is called the notional DP. So what is the DP drawing power? The drawing power is either notional DP or limit sanction, whichever is less is the drawing power. Okay, sir? You see the example, you will understand. That is why I used the word notional DP. Sorry. Yes. So limit is 40 lakhs. Question number 16 we are discussing. Limit sanctioned by the bank is 40 lakhs. Security value is 30 lakhs. Margin is 30%. So what is the notional DP? That is loan which he can avail. 70% of the security value. 70% of the security value is the that is notional value. It is called the notional DP. So what is the notional? So DP is notional DP, which is 70% of the security, or limit, whichever is less. So 70% of the 50 lakhs, how much it come? 35 lakhs. So in the exam, if they ask you what is notional DP, you have to write that is notional DP, 70% of the security value, 70 into 50, 35. So what is the limit sanction? 40 lakhs. So here, both the notional DP and the DP are the same. Isn't it? So notional DP is nothing but after the margin, how much he can avail? 70% of 50 lakhs, which comes to 35. So what is the DP? Notional DP or drawing power, whichever is the less. So the limit is 50 lakhs. So notional DP is 35 lakhs. Between the two, which is less, notional DP is less. So the DP is nothing but here the notional DP, because the limit is 40 lakhs. The notional DP which has come is only 35 lakhs. So the drawing power for the month is only 35 lakhs. So in this example, notional DP is also the same. The drawing power is also the same. So friends, the drawing power cannot be more than your limit, sanctioned limit. Okay, sir? Question number 16. Question number 17. Okay. So CC limit sanctioned is 4 lakhs. Value of stock is 6 lakhs. Margin required is 25%. What is the notional drawing power? Once they ask this question, notional drawing power. Okay, if you are aware, if you have handled it, well and good. If you do not know, this is an opportunity for you to learn. Okay, so CC limit sanctioned is 4 lakhs. Value of stock is 6 lakhs. Margin required is 25%. So margin is 25% means what is the loan quantum? 75%. 75% of 6 lakhs, how much you get? That is the notional DP. Okay, you see the first example. So question number 17 we are seeing. Limit is 4 lakhs. Value of stock is 6 lakhs. Margin is 25%. So what is notional DP? After margin, what is the balance on that stock? So notional DP is 75% of stock. So 75% of 6 lakhs is a notional DP. So notional DP is 4.50 lakhs. You see, friends, the notional DP can be more than the limit. The notional DP can be more than the limit, but DP cannot be more than the limit. The DP cannot be more than the limit. So the notional DP. So what you will do, suppose if they ask in the exam, what is the DP? Notional DP or limit, whichever is less. So if in the exam they ask what is the DP, here you will write 4 lakhs because notional DP is coming 4.5. Since they asked the notional DP, you have to give the answer 4.50 lakhs. Question number 17, the answer is 4.50 lakhs. Question number 18. Your branch has been sanctioned a cash credit limit of 12 lakhs to Miss ABC company. As at the end of July 31st, it has been carrying stocks worth of 9 lakhs, sundry creditors 3 lakhs, and book debts to the worth of 6 lakhs. The margin is 25% on stock and 30% on book debts. What is the maximum amount that can be withdrawn in cash credit account in the month of August? So what are they given? They are given the limit. They are given that is stock. They are given sundry creditors. They are given book debts, and they are given margin on book debts, and they are given margin on stock. Then they are asking you to calculate what is the DP for that month. Okay, what is the DP he can arrive? Okay, sir. What is the sanctioned limit, sir? Both the book debts and debtors put together, the sanctioned limit is 12 lakhs. So what is the stock, sir? 9 lakhs. But any unpaid stock is there, sir? Yes, sundry creditors 3 lakhs. Okay, so you have to calculate the DP only on paid stock. So 9 lakh is the stock, Sundry creditors is 3 lakhs. So paid stock is only 6 lakhs. So how much margin on the stock? The margin on the stock is 25%. That means on stock, you can withdraw 75%. You can withdraw 75%. What is the paid stock? On the paid stock only, on 6 lakhs, you can withdraw 75%. What is the book debts? Book debts is 6 lakhs. On book debts, what is the margin? 30%. How much you can withdraw on the book debt if the margin is 30, 70%. Add both, you will get the DP, which whether it's a notional DP, whether notional DP or the limit, whichever is less is the drawing power. Question number 18, let us see. Question number 18. Limit is rupees 12 lakhs. Value of stock rupees 9 lakhs. Total limit is 12 lakhs. Value of stock is rupees 9 lakhs. Sundry creditors is rupees 3 lakhs. So paid stock is equal to, that is stock minus sundry creditors, 9 minus 3, 6. Margin is 25% on stock. So loan is 75%. So notional DP on stock is 75% of the paid stock, 75% of 6 lakhs, which is 4.50. So notional DP on stock is 4.50. Now you find out notional DP on book debts. Book debts is equal to 6 lakhs. Margin is 30%. Loan is 70%. So notional DP on book debts is 70% of book debts, which is 6 lakhs. So 70% of 6 lakhs is equal to 4.50. So the notional DP on stock is 4.0. What you have found out? You took the stock, you subtracted the unpaid stock. So you got the paid stock. On that paid stock, after the margin, you calculate the notional DP. So the notional DP came to 4.50. Then you took the book debts. On the book debts, after the margin, you found out the notional DP. On the book debts, the notional DP comes to 4.20. This notional DP, when you add, the notional DP comes to 8.70. What is DP? Notional DP or limit, whichever is less. So the notional DP is 8.50. The limit is 12 lakhs. So the actual drawing power for the month is only 8.70. Okay, the actual drawing power is only 7.50. I think your test has another question. Okay, so we will see question number 18 and question number 19 and 20 we will see, then you can go for your exam. Question number 19 we will see. So a banker allows an advance by keeping a margin of 25%. The amount of loan is 1 lakh. What is the value of the security? See, here what they are asking, here the loan amount they are given and they are asking you to find out the value of the security. Ulta they are asking to find out. So the bank allows a margin advance by keeping a margin of 25. The loan amount is 1 lakh. So that is security value, how much they are asking. Okay, 75% of the security value is the loan amount, isn't it? Margin is 25% means what? 75% of the security value is the loan amount. So the loan amount is 1 lakh. Question number 19, let us see. Loan amount is rupees 1 lakh. Margin is 25%. Loan amount is rupees 1 lakh. Margin is rupees 25%. Loan is 75. Very simple. Security value be X. Okay, let the security value be X. So loan is 75% on the security value. 75% of X comes to rupees 1 lakh. The loan is 1 lakh, no? Okay, what is the margin? 25%. So 75% of the security value is the loan amount. 75% of X is equal to rupees 1 lakh. So what is X? X is equal to 1.33 lakhs. So if the security value is 1.33 lakhs with a margin of 25%, so you will get a loan of rupees 1 lakh. For question number 90, the answer is that is 1.33 lakhs. Question number 20. So a firm is sanctioned a working capital limit of rupees 100 lakhs. The margin is 25% on stock. Again, you read, a firm is sanctioned a working capital limit of 100 lakhs. The margin is 25% on stock. The stock as at the June is 300 lakhs. What is the maximum amount party can draw from the OCC account? Very simple. What is the sanctioned working capital limit? 100 lakhs. Margin is 75%, 25% on stock. So you can draw 75% on the 300. That is a notional DP. What is the limit sanction? 100. 75% of 300 notional DP. Notional DP are the limit, whichever is less, you can draw. So accordingly, that will be your answer. So question number 20. Limit is 100 lakhs. Stock is 300 lakhs. Margin is 25% of the 25%. So bank loan is 75%. So notional DP is 75% of the stock, which is 225. But what is the sanction limit? Is only 200. So even though the notional DP is 225, so drawing power is notional DP or limit sanction, whichever is less. So here the limit sanction is only 100. So the notional DP can be more than the limit, but the actual DP cannot be more than the limit. So answer for question number 20 is 100. That is 100 lakhs. So then what is the question number 20? So no 21, no problem. You can go through it. See, this is question number 22 is little important question. The concept of average clause in insurance. The concept of average clause in insurance is applicable in question number 22. So I will give it, and with that we'll wind up today. So you can go for the exam. Stock value is 300 lakhs. Limit is 100 lakhs. So what is the stock value? 300. Limit is 100. Margin is 25%. Okay. We have insured the stock to the value of 100 lakhs. What is the stock value? 300. But how much you have insured? Only 100. As the borrower says, he can have any amount of stock, but it is sufficient if the bank insures up to the limit sanction. Why I got to insure for the entire 300 lakhs? You have given me only 100 lakhs. You insure only to that extent. You don't debit me insurance to my account, the borrower says. Suppose in that case, what happens? A fire broke out and there is a damage of 60 lakhs worth of stock. What will be the compensation the party will get from the insurance company? See, so what is the stock value, sir? 300 lakhs. For how much you are insured, sir? You are insured only for 100 lakhs. Even though you are insured for 100 lakhs and the loss is only 60 lakhs, for how much you are insured? You are insured for 100 lakhs. What is the loss? 60 lakhs. Even though you are insured for 100 lakhs, the loss is less than the insured amount. In this case, the party will not get the entire amount of loss because you are supposed to insure to the stock value. You are supposed to insure to the stock value, whatever may be the limit or liability in the account. What you have done, you are insured only for 100 lakhs. What is the stock value? 300 lakhs. Even though the insured amount is 100 lakhs, the stock value is 60, the loss of is only 60 lakhs, you will not get the 60 lakhs because even though you are insured for 100 lakhs. This is called average clause in insurance. You show the PowerPoint. With that, we'll wind up, sir, today. Because class is, the exam is there. See, question number 21. What is the question number, sir? Not 21, 22. 22. Sorry. See, so this is called average class. What is the stock value, sir? 300 lakhs. What is the insurance, sir? 100 lakhs. Insurance is done for 100 lakhs. What is the loss? 60 lakhs. The average class. What is the average class? 60 lakhs is the loss out of 300 lakhs. So insurance company will calculate like that. Insurance company will not say the loss is for how much amount you are insured. They will say what is the loss? The loss is on what total stock. The 60 lakhs loss is out of 300 lakhs stock. Okay. So the insured amount is only 100 lakhs. So the 60 lakhs loss is the total value of stock under 300. So the loss 60 is out of 300. You are insured only for 100. So 60 by 300 into 100, you will get only compensation 20 lakhs. So what I am telling, the stock value is 300. You have insured, limit is only 100. You have insured only for 100. So even though the insurance amount is for 100, even though the loss is less than the insured amount, the bank will not get the full insurance amount. You will get only proportionately. How the insurance company will calculate? They will put in the numerator what is the loss. In the denominator, they will put what is the stock value for that month. And they will multiply with the insured amount. 60 by 300 into 100, you will get only 20 lakhs. Suppose had you insured for the entire 300, 60 divided by 300 into insured amount 300, you will get the entire 6 lakhs. So that is why, friends, every month when you are seeing the stock statement, the stock value is much more than the limit sanction or liability. If the insurance is not, that is to that equal, for that month, you have to increase the insurance value and debit the stock account. Okay, friends, with that we'll wind up. So 10-15 minutes I got taken more, so you got to do for the exam. If next class is given to me, we'll finish off, and on one question paper we'll see finally. Thank you very much. Good night to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.